What's happening around the world?
And what's happening here at home? Good evening and welcome. This is Primetime News on TV1. I'm Thiruni Karunaratna.
And I'm Sandra Ferdinando. Let's take a look at your headlines for tonight.
Air India plane crash with 242 people on board near Indian airport appears to leave no survivors.
Seen billowing from the wreckage. At least 242 people were...
SJB, SLPP, UNP and SLFP announce a coalition to establish power. SJB coalition member backs NPP in Haldumulla, appointed deputy chair. NPP's Lanka says will tighten grip on Colombo amid coalition chaos. Court summoned Central Bank's intelligence unit in bond scam inquiry.
A tragic plane crash near Ahmedabad airport this afternoon has reportedly left no survivors. The aircraft carrying 242 passengers and crew had just departed from Ahmedabad en route to London's Gatwick Airport when it crashed minutes into its journey. However, foreign media has now confirmed that one person, the passenger of seat number 11A of the flight, has survived the crash.
During the afternoon hours between 1 p.m. and 2 p.m. Indian time, an Air India Boeing 7878 Dreamliner en route to London's Gatwick Airport crashed shortly after takeoff from Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel International Airport in Ahmedabad today.
A London-bound Air India Boeing 7878 Dreamliner crashed shortly after taking off from the Ahmedabad airport. The aircraft was on its way to London's Gatwick Airport. Air India confirmed that there were 169 Indian nationals on the flight, as well as 53 Britons, 1 Canadian national and 7 Portuguese nationals. The Air India plane, carrying 242 passengers, crashed on students' hostel of the BJ Medical College in Ahmedabad. According to preliminary information, the aircraft reached a maximum altitude of approximately 825 feet before suddenly descending. The flight crew issued a mayday call immediately after takeoff from runway 23, but then lost contact with air traffic control. The impact killed 5 students and injured several others at the hostel. Images from the scene show debris in the hostel's dining area with uneaten food still on the plates. This was Air India's first statement regarding the incident, posted on X.
Air India confirms that flight AI 171 from Ahmedabad to London Gatwick was involved in an accident today after takeoff. The flight, which departed from Ahmedabad at 13:38 hours, was carrying 242 passengers and crew members on board the Boeing 7878 aircraft. Of these, 169 are Indian nationals, 53 are British nationals, 1 Canadian national and 7 Portuguese nationals. The injured are being taken to the nearest hospitals.
Currently, Air India is part of the Tata Group. Chairman of Air India, N. Chandrasekaran, expressed his condolences regarding the incident.
With profound sorrow, I confirm that Air India Flight 171, operating Ahmedabad-London Gatwick, was involved in a tragic accident today. Our thoughts and deepest condolences are with the families and loved ones of all those affected by this devastating incident. At this moment, our primary focus is on supporting all the affected people and their families. We are doing everything in our power to assist the emergency response teams at the site and to provide all necessary support and care to those impacted. Further updates will be shared as we receive more verified information. An emergency center has been activated and a support team have been set up for families seeking information.
The Indian Central Industrial Security Force, or the CISF, posting on X, said that as soon as the incident occurred, necessary security protocols were implemented and relief operations began immediately. Rescue teams promptly moved to extinguish the fire on the aircraft and transport the injured to the hospitals. The exact cause of the incident has not yet been determined. Indian media reports indicate that since it was a long-haul flight, the aircraft's fuel tanks were likely full. Preliminary investigations have revealed that the aircraft was unable to gain altitude after takeoff. Currently, the Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel International Airport in Ahmedabad has temporarily suspended all flight operations until further notice.
Former Gujarat Chief Minister Vijay Rupani was on the London-bound Air India aircraft that crashed near the Ahmedabad airport. According to the passenger list document accessed by India Today Digital, Vijay Ramniklal Rupani is the 12th passenger on the list and was booked in the Z class, which falls under the business class category. The tragic plane crash in Ahmedabad has drawn heartfelt condolences from high-level officials across India and the UK on X.
President Draupadi Murmu expressed profound sorrow, stating, quote, "I am deeply distressed to learn about the tragic plane crash in Ahmedabad. It is a heart-rending disaster. My thoughts and prayers are with the affected people. The nation stands with them in this hour of indescribable grief." Prime Minister Narendra Modi conveyed his shock and sadness, remarking, quote, "The tragedy in Ahmedabad has stunned and saddened us. It is heartbreaking beyond words. In this sad hour, my thoughts are with everyone affected by it. Have been in touch with ministers and authorities who are working to assist those affected." End quote. UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer shared his devastation regarding the incident, particularly noting the presence of British nationals. Quote, "The scenes emerging of a London-bound plane carrying many British nationals crashing in the Indian city of Ahmedabad are devastating. I am being kept updated as the situation develops, and my thoughts are with the passengers and their families at this deeply distressing time." End quote.
Sri Lankan President Anurukumara Dissanayake, posting on X, expressed his deep sorrow over the Ahmedabad tragedy. He extended heartfelt condolences to the families of all those on board and said that in this moment of grief, the people of Sri Lanka stand in solidarity with India.
President Anurukumara Dissanayake, who is currently on an official visit to Germany, is scheduled to meet several more German ministers today. Yesterday, the president met with German Foreign Minister Johann Wadephul in Berlin. The discussions between President Anurukumara Dissanayake and German Foreign Minister Johann Wadephul focused on exploring new opportunities to expand bilateral cooperation, particularly in the areas of trade, the digital economy, investments and vocational training. The president met with his German counterpart Frank-Walter Steinmeier yesterday at Bellevue Palace in Berlin. According to the president's media division, particular attention was given to further enhancing economic and international cooperation between the two countries, as well as expanding collaboration in the fields of vocational training and tourism. President Anurukumara Dissanayake departed for Germany on the 10th of June, embarking on a 3-day official visit at the invitation of the President of Germany.
Microplastic pellets and other debris have been washing ashore along the coastal areas of Delft Island in Jaffna and several other regions in Sri Lanka. According to the Marine Environment Protection Authority, the debris is believed to have originated from the MSC Elsa 3 cargo vessel, which sank off the coast of Kerala, India.
Microplastic fragments have accumulated along the coastal areas of Delft Island, Nainathu and Mannar, raising environmental concerns. Newsfirst correspondents also reported minor traces of microplastics along the Kilinochchi and Chilau coastlines.
Yesterday, we observed plastic pellets from the sunken vessel washing ashore along the Delft and Jaffna coastlines. With strong winds and rough seas expected in the coming days, ocean currents may carry more of these pellets to our shores.
pellets අපේ වෙරළ තීරයේ විවිධ ස්ථානවලට එන්න හැකියාව තියෙනවා.
NEPA has introduced an emergency hotline for the public to report any debris found along the coast. Citizens can call 1949 to provide the relevant information. What is this maritime accident? The MSC Elsa 3, a Liberia-flagged cargo vessel, sank on the 25th of May due to water ingress. The incident occurred 38 nautical miles off the coast of Kerala, India, while the ship was carrying 643 containers.
මේක විශේෂයෙන් 13ක් තියෙනවා dangerous cargo බහලුන් 12ක්.
Among the cargo on board the MSC Elsa 3, 13 containers were classified as dangerous goods. Notably, 12 of these contained calcium carbide, a chemical that can release toxic substances and gases when it comes into contact with seawater. In addition, approximately 60 containers were filled with plastic pellets. Although the incident occurred on the 25th of May, MIPA received initial information from the Sri Lanka Navy shortly afterward. On the 28th of May, international organizations warned that ocean currents and the wind patterns could carry debris towards Sri Lanka's coastal areas. This risk was further confirmed by the Indian Coast Guard on the 30th of May, indicating that marine debris could reach Sri Lankan waters.
අපේ කලාපයටත් මේ අපද්‍රව්‍ය එන්න පුළුවන් කියන එක.
What is the impact on fisheries?
ශ්‍රී ලංකාවට වඩා නාවික සැතපුම් 300.
Since the incident occurred approximately 300 nautical miles away from Sri Lanka, any chemical substances that enter the Indian Ocean will be significantly diluted. Therefore, the potential health impact is extremely minimal. There is no reason for public concern, and no fishing bans or restrictions are necessary in Sri Lankan waters.
What about debris removal operations?
විශේෂයෙන්ම අපිට හදිසි තෙල් විසිරීමකදී ක්‍රියාත්මක.
We are currently preparing to implement the National Contingency Plan for oil and chemical spills. Starting today, we are expanding operations to clean up the affected coastal areas. Our priority is to remove plastic pellets that have already reached the shoreline as quickly as possible.
Pellets ඉවත් කිරීමේ කටයුතු අපි හැකි ඉක්මනින්ම.
Four rival political parties today formed an alliance for the purpose of establishing the government at a local government institutions. The parties in the alliance are the United National Party, the Samagijana Balawega, Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna and the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. Now, convening a media briefing today, these parties said that the previous allegations of fraud and corruption that they levelled against each other are not relevant to the current situation.
The joint media briefing was held at the N.M. Pereira Center in Borella. At the media briefing, Tissata Nayaka represented the Samagijana Balawega, Sagara Karyavasam represented the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna as its General Secretary, Talatatu Korale represented the United National Party as its General Secretary, and Lasantala Giovanna represented the Sri Lanka Freedom Party.
When we look at how the votes had been cast for a majority of the local government bodies, we can see that the joint opposition has received a large number of votes. It is our duty to act according to that mandate. Many political parties have decided that we should unite and stand for those aspirations of the people. We have informed all of our members at local government bodies that we need an open vote. Thereby we say that an open vote must be held. Our primary goal is for the joint opposition to establish the government in over 100 local government bodies. We can see that democracy and freedom in this country is disappearing. Against such a backdrop, we have decided as a party to unite with these parties and build an alliance to protect the freedom in this country.
We formed the joint opposition to fulfill the aspiration of the people who voted not to allow the current government establish power at these local government bodies.
It is the people who decide how things should be done after an election. The people of this country that voted for 132 local government bodies asked for the joint opposition to form the government and to work for the people. The Samagijana Balawega, the United National Party, the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, and there are many other independent parties. Discussions have been held with many of these independent groups. Based on what I know, I don't know if something unexpected happens, but according to what I know, the numbers are right.
ඕන විදිහට විග්‍රහ කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙයි. දැන් ඒක තමයි වෙන්නේ. ආණ්ඩුවට නැත්නම් NPP-ට නැත්නම් අනිත් දේශපාලන පක්ෂයට කියලා තමයි අදහස් විමසෙන්නේ.
ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් ඔබතුමාලාගේ ප්‍රතිපත්ති මේකකතාවයක් නැහැ. ඒක බලය අල්ල ගන්න විතරක් එකතු වෙච්ච අටවගත් එකක්.
නෑ අපි සියලුම දේශපාලන පක්ෂ අදහස් කළේ මේ මොහොතේ ප්‍රකාශ කියලා තියෙන දේශපාලන මතය ආණ්ඩුවට විරුද්ධව දීලා තියෙන මතය ඒක රාශී කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා.
ඒකෝට විරුද්ධව තියෙන ජනපදයේ ඔබතුමාලා තීරණය කරනවා. අරගලේ වෙලාවේ ජනතා පාරට බහැලා එළවපු ආණ්ඩුව. ඒකට ඒ එළවපු පිරිසට ඔබතුමාගේ සමුජල බලවේගයේ ඔබතුමා සම්පූර්ණ කොටසක් තියෙනවා. ඒක කොහොමද ඔබතුමාලාගේ මේ පැහැදීම යථා කර්තව්‍ය නියෝජනය කරන්නේ?
හැමදෙයක්ම දැන් පාර්ලිමේන්තුව උදාහරණයකට ගන්නකො. පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට විවිධ ජනමත නියෝජනය කරන කණ්ඩායම් එකට එකතු වෙලා එනවා. එකතු වෙලා සමාජය ඇවිල්ලා එකතු වෙන එක ගැන මතයක් කියලා මේක ගන්න. ඒක වැරදි කියලා මතයක් තියෙනවා ජනමතය. ඒතකොට මේක හරි. නෑ මම කියන්නේ ඒක අනිත් පැත්ත. ධර්ම ස්ථාවරයක් වගේ වැඩ කරනවා නම් එතන අපිට එකතු වෙලා වැඩ කරන්න පුළුවන්.
එක අරමුණක් වෙන්නේ. පළාත් පාලන ආයතන පිළිතුරීම කියන ඒ අරමුණ වෙන්නේ තමයි අපි මේක රැස්විලා ඉන්නේ. ඔය කියන පරස්පර විරුද්ධ ප්‍රතිපත්ති වෙනස්කම් මේ සියලුම කියන්නේ.
මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ මේ රටේ ජනතා දේපල හොරකම් කරා කියලා. ඒ හොරකම් කරපු එක දේපල සම්බන්ධයෙන් වචනයක් එළියට කියා ගන්න බැරි වෙච්ච හොඳ පණ නැති නායකයෙක් ඉන්න පක්ෂයක්. ඉතින් ඒ වගේ පක්ෂයක් මේ රටට කරන හානිය, මේ රටේ ජනතාවගේ අනාගතය රට විනාශ කරන්න උත්සාහ කරන පක්ෂයක් අපි දක්වනවා සියලු දෙනාම මේ වෙලාවේ රටට තියෙන හානිය. පුටින්ට යුද්ධ කරන්න විපක්ෂ එකතු වෙලා සහයෝගය දෙනවා.
මේ හොරකම් දූෂණ වංචාවක බොරු චෝදනා එල්ල කළ බොරුවක් වෙන්න ආව කියලා ඔය අවුරුදු 20 25 ඉරේ යන
ඔබ කියන ඔබ දකින්නවාද මේ එක්කෙනෙක්වත් මේ රටේ ජනතා දේපල හොරකම් කරන හිරේගිය එක්කෙනෙක් කියන්නේ මට තමන්ගේ ගිණුමට දාන හොරකම් කරගෙන හිරේගිය එක්කෙනෙක් මට කියන්නේ
තමන්ගේ ගිණුමට දාන කතාවක් නෙවෙයි හොරකම් කරලා නෙවෙයි කියන්නේ
නෑ මොකක්ද හොරකම් කොතෙන්ද හොරකම් කරන්නේ
විශ්වාස කෙරෙහි එකට ඒතකොට
ඒගොල්ලන්ට කියන චෝදනාව ගැන ඔබතුමා දැනුවත් ඔබතුමා චෝදනා කියවලා නෑ ඔබතුමා මේ චෝදනා ගැන දැනුවත් නැත්නම් මේ වගේ තරේ
ඔය ඉතල කියන්නේ උත්තරේ තමන්ගේ කවුන්ට් එකට දාගත්ත කතාවක් නෙවෙයි. ඒක ජනතා මුදල් අභාවිතය යොදවලා.
ජනතා මුදල් අභාවිතය යොදවලා නම් ඒක වෙනම දෙයක්. මේ රටේ ගම්වල ඉන්න අහිංසක තරුණ ප්‍රජාවගේ ක්‍රීඩා සමාජ වලට කැරම් දාම් බෝඩ් ඒක අවභාවිතයක් කියලා අධිකරණය විශ්වාස කරනවා නම් අධිකරණය ඒකට දඬුවම් දුන්නා අපිට ඒක ගැන කිසිම තර්කයක් නැහැ. ඒකයි කිව්වේ එහෙම නෙමෙයි ජාතික දඬුවම් හොරගම් කරා. ගම් අතරදී ණයකට එකතු වීම මේක සමාන කරන්න එපා.
This is the National People's Power's response to the opposition's alliance.
ස්ථිරවම අපි දිගටම කියනවා අපි ඡන්දයට කලිනුත් අපේ අපේක්ෂිකා අපේ රායපන්තතාව සහෝදරිය අපි නම් කරා අපි තමයි දිලුවේ බහුතරය ගත්තේ අපි අපිට ලොකු විශ්වාසයක් තියෙනවා ජයග්‍රහණය කරනවා කියලා එතුමියන් පුරපති වීමෙන් මේක වෙනස් කරන්න පුළුවන් කියලා කොළඹ නගරේ ජනතාවටත් විශ්වාසයක් ඇති වෙලා තියෙනවා. අහින්දාස් කෑලි වලින් එකතු කරලා මූට්ටු කරලා පූට්ටු කරලා ගන්න නගරාධිපතිලාගෙන් මේක කරන්න බෑ කියලා ජනතාවට අවබෝධයක් තියෙනවා. විපක්ෂ කණ්ඩායම උත්සාහ දරනවා. ඒගොල්ලෝ දරපු උත්සාහ එකක්වත් හරියන්නේ නැහැ අද වෙනකම්. රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මහත්තයව දාලා ආවේ රනිල් එක්ක ඉඳලා දිනන්න බෑ කියලා. ආපු දවසේ ඉඳලා තාම දිගටම non stop පරාදයි. සජිත් යටතේ දිගට පරාදයි මේ බලප්පල කන්දේ පරාදයි. ඇත්ත කතාව ගන්න. ඉතින් දැන් බලනවා මේ විසිවෙච්ච ටිකක් එකතු කරගෙන මොකක් හරි අටවන්න පුළුවන්ද කියලා. ඇතම් තැනක ඇටවුවා කඩාගෙන වැටෙනවා ස්ථිරසාර නැති නිසා. ඒ නිසා නගර සභාවල ප්‍රාදේශ සභාවල මහනගර සභාවල වැඩිම ඡන්දගත් සංඛ්‍යාවෙන් ඒ කියන්නේ බහුතරය ගත්ත අයගෙන් නගරාධිපති හෝ ප්‍රාදේශ සභාවේ සභාපති තෝරන එක තමයි ස්ථාවර.
A member of the Tamil Progressive Alliance led by Mano Ganesan and allied with the Samagijana Balawegya extended support to the National People's Power to establish control over the Haldumulla Pradeshya Sabha. In the open vote held for the position of chairman, Jagat Kumara Rajapaksha of the NPP received 11 votes, while Chandrasiri Pereira of the Samagijana Balawegya received only 10 votes. The Tamil Progressive Alliance contributed 1 vote to the NPP. Murugesu Ramesh of the Tamil Progressive Alliance was appointed as the deputy chairman.
This time, we voted for the NPP in line with the proposal made by our party. The council was formed and I was appointed deputy chairman.
Mano Ganesan, leader of the Tamil Progressive Alliance, stated that disciplinary action will be taken against the member who supported the NPP.
We will conduct disciplinary inquiries against both Murugesu Ramesh and Ramaya Pushparaja for violating party discipline. The party leadership council, including myself, Digambaram and Radhakrishnan, will convene to discuss this matter. We will remove both individuals from the party.
Newsfirst with the people.
The National Animal Census, conducted on the 15th of March 2025, is officially released today at the Ministry of Agriculture. According to the report, the Torque macaw population in the country exceeds 5 million, while the monkey population stands at over 1.5 million.
The animal census, categorized into 4 groups, revealed the following. The total population of Torque macaques in the country is estimated at 5.17 million, with the highest number recorded in the Kandy district. The overall monkey population stands at 1.74 million, with the Anuradhapura district reporting the largest concentration. The giant squirrel population is estimated at 2.66 million nationwide, with the Kurunegala district recording the highest number. The number of peacocks approximately is 4.24 million, also with the highest population found in the Kurunegala district. The Jaffna district reported the lowest population figures across all 4 animal groups. Colombo Chief Magistrate Tanuja Lakmali issued an order to the Financial Intelligence Unit of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, instructing them to appear in court on the 11th of December. This directive was issued due to the FIU's failure to submit account reports related to the ongoing investigations into the central bank bond scam, despite previous court orders.
A complaint filed by the Criminal Investigation Department regarding the incident was taken up again today before the Colombo Chief Magistrates Court. 7 suspects, including Arjuna Losius, a director of Perpetual Treasuries Limited, who is currently out on bail, appeared before the court. A CID investigation officer informed the court through a report that the central bank had not responded appropriately to the court order issued earlier. President's counsel Sampath Mendes, appearing on behalf of the suspects, stated that the case was initially taken up in November last year. He further noted that the court had ordered the central bank's Financial Intelligence Unit to submit the relevant account reports of the companies involved. The President's counsel emphasized that even after 9 months, there had been no proper response to the court's directive. He urged the court to consider an appropriate decision if the complaint is not interested in pursuing the case further. He also pointed out that suspects are already facing charges before High Court trial at bar in connection with the same incident. After considering the facts, the Chief Magistrate ordered that an officer from the central bank's Financial Intelligence Unit must be present in court on the next hearing date. The suspects in this case include Perpetual Treasuries Limited, its director Arjuna Losius, former central bank governor Arjuna Mahendran, and 4 others.
Still in local news, as Sri Lanka navigates a critical phase in its economic recovery, the International Monetary Fund has acknowledged the country's strong performance under its current reform program. Responding to a question from Newsfirst Zulfik Farzan, Director of the Communications Department at the IMF, Julie Kozak, emphasized that Sri Lanka's ambitious reform agenda is yielding commendable results. However, she noted that the completion of the next review and the access to the next tranche of funding remains contingent on the fulfillment of prior actions and executive board approval.
Hi, Julie. Zulfik Farzan from Newsfirst.
Yeah, Zulfik, please go ahead. Yep.
Thank you, Julie. My question is, recently Sri Lankan president announced that the existing IMF program is likely, they hope that it will be the final program for the country as it tries to achieve financial independence. What is the IMF's view on this? Is it achievable given the current situation in Sri Lanka? And what is the progress on the IMF board approval for the next review? Thank you.
Okay, very good. Thank you. The program and Sri Lanka's ambitious reform agenda continue to deliver commendable outcomes. Performance under the program remains strong overall, and the government remains committed to program objectives. Completion of the review is pending approval of the IMF's executive board, and it is contingent on completion of prior actions. What I can add is that our IMF team, of course, is closely engaged with the authorities to assess the measures that were recently announced by the regulator on June 11th. And these include a 15% increase in electricity tariffs and the publication of a revised bulk supply transaction account guidelines for this. So these were 2 prior actions. Once the review is completed by our executive board, Sri Lanka would have access to about $344 million in financing. And we will announce the board date for Sri Lanka in due course. On governance, what I can add is that in end February, the government published an updated government action plan on governance reforms. And this action plan included important commitments such as enacting a public procurement law, an asset recovery law, and other actions that are aligned with the recommendations that were included in the IMF's governance diagnostic report. And then I think, Zulfik, on your question regarding the President's remarks, I think there what I can simply say is to repeat that Sri Lanka has made commendable progress in implementing some very difficult but much needed reforms. These efforts are really starting to bear fruit. We see a remarkable rebound in growth following Sri Lanka's crisis. Inflation is low. International reserves are continuing to grow. Revenue collection on the fiscal side is improving, and the debt restructuring process is nearly complete. So I think it's really important to recognize, the significant efforts that Sri Lanka has taken, and also the tremendous progress that has been made. Right now, of course, we are very much focused on the current EFF, and therefore, as I mentioned, it's going to be critical for Sri Lanka to sustain the reform momentum through the remainder of this EFF program.
The book, The World of the Black Leopard, was launched in Colombo yesterday.
Sri Lankan explorer, photographer and author Senaka Kotagama launched his debut book, The World of the Black Leopard, in Colombo yesterday. This self-published work captures his 5-decade-long journey through the wild from Sri Lanka to Kenya, highlighting his rare encounter with a melanistic leopard named Giza.
I expect this to be the first works of a series I wish to accomplish, a series titled The Ultimate Predator. And so, this odyssey too has begun, starting with The World of the Black Leopard. It is nature that always triumphs eventually, but graciously offer us many a dream to pursue. The spirit for discovery and adventure grew in my heart and transcended to the life I lead, to explore like it was the last day on earth.
The book supports Rotary for Little Hearts, a project aiming to raise $1 million for life-saving surgeries at Lady Ridgeway Hospital for Children.
When you purchase a book, purchase more than one book. Purchase several copies. Give it to all your adventurous friends, because you're not just supporting the wildlife conservation group, you're helping another child to live in our country. You're helping save a life. It's one black panther at a time and one little heart at a time.
The event featured exclusive items for auction, including a portrait of the rare black leopard, which sold for an impressive 760,000 rupees.
Sirasa TV and Yes FM are officially the media sponsors for the upcoming Asian Rugby World Cup qualifying tournament. The agreement was formally signed today at the Sirasa Media Network headquarters in Braybrook Place.
Sirasa TV and Yes FM have been named the official media sponsors for the Asian Rugby World Cup qualifying tournament. The official signing ceremony took place today at the Sirasa Media Network headquarters in Braybrook Place with the participation of representatives from Sri Lanka Rugby, Sirasa TV and Yes FM. The event was graced by former senior DIG M.R. Latif, chairman of the Sri Lanka Rugby Interim Committee, and Shivan Daniel, the group director of Capital Maharaja Group. Also present were Chief Operating Officer of MTV, Yasarat Kamalsiri, Chief Operating Officer of MBC, Buddhi Vikramanayaka, Promotions Director Charmika Roshan, along with several other distinguished guests.
Thank you SFM and Sirasa for coming on board to power Sri Lanka Rugby in its Asia Cup World Cup qualifying match between Sri Lanka and South Korea. It augments the game of rugby, which is very popular in Sri Lanka, as well as it's a morale boost for the Sri Lanka rugby players and as well as to the rugby family. Once again, thank you very much for SFM and Sirasa for this great partnership and for powering Sri Lanka rugby. Thank you.
We'd like to thank Sri Lanka Rugby for this fantastic opportunity for Sirasa and Yes FM, two incredibly powerful Sri Lankan brands with a massive Sri Lankan legacy, to partner with the Sri Lankan rugby team as they face South Korea and as they do their very best to make it to the World Cup. Win or lose, Sri Lanka, we will support you, and Sirasa TV and Yes FM is very, very proud to partner with Sri Lanka Rugby, and we want to appreciate their partnership in this endeavor. And good luck to the boys tomorrow.
A curfew is in place for a second night in Los Angeles after nearly a week of unrest in the city over U.S. immigration raids.
An uneasy calm has descended over Los Angeles after the first night of a curfew lifted on Wednesday, as cities across the U.S. brace for more protests. In Los Angeles, nearly 400 people have so far been arrested, including 330 undocumented migrants and 157 people arrested for assault and obstruction, including one for the attempted murder of a police officer. Federal prosecutors have so far charged 2 men for throwing Molotov cocktails at police officers in 2 separate incidents. A total of 4,000 National Guard troops and 700 Marines have been deployed to help quell the unrest. Some of those National Guard troops are now authorized to detain people until police can arrest them. Speaking alongside 30 regional mayors at a news conference on Wednesday, LA Mayor Karen Bass blamed the protests on U.S. President Donald Trump's immigration raids, which she said provoked residents by causing fear and panic. Bass suggested Los Angeles was, quote, part of a national experiment to determine how far the federal government can go in taking over power from local government from a local jurisdiction, end quote. She has previously called on the administration to end the raids. Overnight on Tuesday into Wednesday, Los Angeles police said they made mass arrests after a 5th day of protests over the immigration action. In a series of statements, the city's police department said that those detained included 203 people arrested for failure to disperse, 17 for curfew violations, 3 for possession of a firearm, and 1 for assault with a deadly weapon on a police officer. Elsewhere, the immigration raids have continued alongside the National Guard troops.
Moving back to local news, the Criminal Investigations Department has deployed 28 teams to investigate into incidents where inmates have been released by misusing the presidential pardon. The police said that the teams are inspecting many documents at the prisons.
There is much controversy surrounding the release of an inmate of the Anuradhapura prison under the guise of being granted a presidential pardon. Prisons Commissioner General Tushara Upuldeniya was remanded until the 25th of this month. The Anuradhapura Prisons Commissioner, Mohan Karunaratne, who was also arrested in connection with the incident, was remanded until tomorrow. Prisons media spokesperson Gamini B. Disanayake has also resigned from his post after the investigations into this incident began. Prisons Commissioner for Rehabilitation Jagat Veerasinghe has been appointed as the new prison spokesperson. SJB parliamentarian Dayasiri Jayasekara voiced his opposition against the investigations being conducted by the Criminal Investigations Department.
When an allegation like this is levelled, usually what happens is the Ministry Secretary is instructed through the President's Secretary to investigate the matter. But leaving that aside, the government goes and complains to the CID. There is a massive difference between the procedure of the CID and the state administration sector. Before this procedure is launched, if action is being taken against the head of an institution, the preliminary investigation report must be forwarded to the Minister of Public Administration, and it is usually presented to the cabinet by the minister.
This was the explanation given by Deputy Minister T.B. Sara.
The government does not have a policy of protecting people who have committed crimes. We will not look at the person's position. If a crime has been committed, we will take strict action against them. Legal actions has been initiated against Tushara Upuldeniya because of his own actions. This issue is being sorted out by the law. We are not prepared to resolve these issues in the kitchen like some people are suggesting. Dayasiri Jayasekara is saying that this is not how this should have been resolved and that actions should have been taken from within the government. If we did that, Dayasiri would have said that this issue must be resolved by the law and that the rule of law has gone to waste in this country. He would say that the action against Tushara Upuldeniya shows the state of the rule of law.
Nature has a remarkable way of rejuvenating both the body and the mind. Sri Lanka is home to many scenic locations that offer such tranquility and escape. This journey is about discovering one such serene destination.
And with that, we wrap up news for tonight. Thank you very much for joining us. Good night.
Beautiful Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka is home to many natural wonders, and among them stands the breathtaking Bopat Falls. Situated in the village of Aglavata Kuruvita in the Ratnapura district, this waterfall gets its name from its unique shape, which closely resembles a bow leaf. Bopat Falls has long captured the interest of both local and foreign tourists, earning its place as one of the country's most visited natural attractions. Standing at around 30 meters tall, the waterfall flows through a lush green landscape, creating a picture-perfect setting that enchants all who visit. It's yet another reminder of the natural beauty Sri Lanka has to offer.
Beautiful Sri Lanka.